in Gibraltar, and Mike Lawrence joins me.
Yes, and I wonder, when we set off on Friday afternoon, the first of those 48 players taking to the stage, I wonder what odds you would have got on a Steve Beaton James Wade final tonight. But James Wade, he's come through from the first round stage, beating Gino Voss, Andy Hamilton, Benito van der Pas and Kim Huybrechts, before seeing off Michael Smith, who fell a bit short after having a good weekend himself. Michael Smith. That was Wade's route through. Steve Beaton came through as the number 10 seed, so started in the second round stage, beating Andy Parsons, and then had scares against Johnny Haynes and Gary Anderson, both winning 6-5, before seeing off Simon Whitlock 6-4 in the semi-final.
Yeah, whoever wins this has had their fair share of luck this weekend. Steve Beaton survived match starts from Johnny Haynes. James Wade survived match starts from Benito van der Pas, and Steve Beaton raring to go. Ross barely finished calling, he was chucking his first dart.
And Steve Beaton, the mullet may not be there, but he won the world title in 1996. He won a title in Sindelfingen, Germany on this European tour in 2013. You know, form may be temporary, class is permanent, and he is a class act, and here he is in another big European final.
Yeah, I had a quick word with both of these guys just before they went on. Said to Steve, "You psyched up for this, Steve? All I got was a nod of the head. I'm ready." As for James, said, "Go and enjoy it, James." "Enjoy it? You've obviously never played darts before," was his response. At times, he's not really looked like he's been that interested, but he still managed to get the job done, as he so often does. Incredible, gutsy performances, real bottle and character that he's displayed, not least in that win against Benito van der Pas. He had to survive match darts, but just to stay with Benito, who was playing superbly all weekend. The conqueror of Michael van Gerwen, the world #1 and world champion, of course.
And James Wade, a few barren years without silverware. 2011 UK Open title, the last title he lifted.
Steve Beaton's looking to take this out. Bit of a wobble for the first dart. Double top he wants, and well, Steve Beaton took 160 out when he played Mervyn King when he won that European Tour title that you mentioned in Sindelfingen. And even though he isn't taken out here, he will be back looking at double 10 to get his first leg on the board and hold his throw for a 1-0 lead. The bronzed Adonis need to work his way in from that one. Does so. Second dart. The cheers go up in Gibraltar, and Steve Beaton moves into the lead.
And in terms of the head-to-head, James well ahead, 15-3. Their last meeting was in the Players' Championship finals down in Minehead in November. Steve won that 6-5 at the last 32 stage.
55. Yeah, he also beat him at one of the major tournaments, the European Championship. That was back in 2009. That was in a semi-final as well. It was a big, big game for those two men, and Steve managed to come through it before, well, kind of getting taken apart by Phil Taylor in the final, as has happened to many a man. But James did beat him at the World Championships, not this year, just gone, the year before, beat him 4-2. Andy beat him at the Grand Prix last year, but Beaton did have a match dart. If he gets a match dart today, well, he may have to take it, because James has been ready to pounce on any mistakes that anyone has made so far this weekend.
And this is the fourth game these two men have played today, and in the heat of the Gibraltar night, it may well just come down to the survival of the fittest, whose stamina holds out the best, as James Wade is his first 180 of the final.
Well, the 162 is a bogey number. James Wade cannot go out on this. Steve Beaton came so close to taking out 160 in the previous leg, as Stand Up If You Love the Darts rings around the Victoria Stadium here. 151 for Steve Beaton. He started a lot of his games well. Oh, he's not going to take this one out, but he's going to put a dent in it and put some pressure on James Wade here. 71 left. Just having a little think. He may go treble 13. That's what he was going for.
So 48 leaves double 10. One of his favourite doubles. Double 5 now. Can't do it. So Beaton to double his lead and break the throw early on here. A great chance, 1 in 58.
Well, he's going to get 2 darts at double top here, Steve Beaton. He's gone high with 1, but that's a decent marker. Oh, and he's not used it at all. Missed opportunity for Steve Beaton here. James Wade's only going to get 2 darts himself. Gets the fat 1, down for double 2. There it is, there it is. Just a little bit of a jump and a fist pump from James Wade.
And I mentioned to Russ Bray, who we've enjoyed having with us in the commentary box this weekend, that maybe James Wade, the little break he's had not being included in the Premier League this year. We've seen a number of the Premier League stars fall by the wayside this weekend. That gruelling schedule, 15 weeks, the big stadiums playing the top players week in, week out, up and down the country. Maybe James has had some time to refresh, recharge the batteries, and the way he's been playing in recent weeks in some of these tournaments would suggest that he is getting back to some of his best form.
Well, if he is, everybody better watch out. It's a staple thing for James Wade to say in interviews. I wouldn't want to play me. They've got to worry about me. I don't need to worry about them. And that is certainly true if James Wade gets back to the kind of form that took him to 7 major titles. Bit of work to do in this leg here, but that's a good first start. And he follows it with his 3rd as well, so Steve Beaton under pressure on his own throw.
Well, those 3 darts all just dropping short of the intended treble 20 target, but he is down to a finish, albeit a big one.
Stubbornly staying up there on the treble 20 despite pretty tricky lies he had there. Steve Beaton's not going to go out here. All he can do is try and find a treble, and he's not done so. So James Wade, he took out a 1-4-1 against Andy Hamilton. It was a key moment. It turned the game. Even Andy Hamilton admits that. Is he going to do it here? Treble 19. No, he's not. But he sets it up very, very nicely, and Steve Beaton 99 is not easy. Can't do this in 2 darts. Well, he's going to get a dart though. Steve Beaton, a double 16, sneaks it in the corner. Steve Beaton holds his throw. 2-1 to the bronze Adonis.
Quality from the former world champ. Taking out the 99. So we're going with the throw after the first 3. Legs of this match.
Just to remind you, this will be a new winner on the European Tour this year. 5th event of the year. We've had 4 different winners so far. All of them have been knocked out. Phil Taylor, Michael van Gerwen, Vincent van der Voort and Gary Anderson not making it through as Steve Beaton looks to fill this up. Look at a clatter into the first 2 darts, and it just went sailing past into the single 1.
Yes, these European events always produce some fantastic matches, and a few upsets along the way, a few different names emerge, a few new stars emerging as well, like Benito van der Pas, who knocked out Michael van Gerwen here this weekend, a young Dutchman.
Well, second visit running, Steve Beaton not making the most of 2 perfect first darts. You know, those extra 114 points he would have had Would have made such a difference in this leg. But this is on the Wade throw. Wade, well, 65. That gets him down to a two-darter. Steve Beaton, 155. Couldn't take out 160 in the first leg. Couldn't take out 151 in the previous. Is he going to get a 155? He needed the treble 19. Wow, pressure for James Wade, but it is pressure that this man thrives upon. Needs to find the treble. Doesn't do so. Beaton's coming back for a potential 13 darter in the first breaker throw of the final here at the Gibraltar Darts Trophy. Double 80's looking at. Double 80 gets the bronze to Donis. Opens up a two-leg lead.
One of the coolest players, not just with the walk-on and the medallion, but one of the coolest players on the stage when he gets on the oche and the MC calls game on.
Well, there's only one Stevie Beaton ringing around the hall here, and it's because he's throwing darts like this.
85.
Yes, the crowd have got nicely refreshed and finding their voices for the final.
Wow.
No treble for Beaton. Chance for Wade. Looking to break straight back. Not making the most of it as yet. The machine.
We mentioned Benito van der Pas, who knocked out Michael van Gerwen. He also had match darts to knock out James Wade at the third round stage this afternoon.
Yeah, he certainly did. Stunning performance from Benito van der Pas all weekend, but when it came to the crunch against James Wade, 3 match darts went begging, and the machine made him pay. Well, the trebles were just drying up for both of these guys, but a 54 for Steve Beaton there gives him a chance of going into a 4-1 lead, but James Wade is going to be sat waiting to pounce. 120 off, 66 left for James Wade.
134.
So Steve Beaton, well, he may need to take this out. He's already taken 99 out. Needs to find a treble. Oh, bounce out. I don't know if it was in the 54 or not. That one certainly is. So we'll be waiting on double top if James Wade can't take out 52. It'll be 12 tops. No problem with the 12. The first one is high. Oh, the second one is high as well.
Well,
A slow plod to pick his darts out the board, and Steve Beaton, could he go 4-1 up here in the final? He could, you know.
A big moment in the final. You felt after that bounce out, Wade would have snuck in, but as it is, Beaton is 4-1 up. And the luck that has been with Steve Beaton, as well as, let's not take it away from him, some quality darts when it's mattered today. Is it still on his side? Sneaking through 6-5 against Johnny Haynes and Gary Anderson. Johnny Haynes having match darts to beat him.
And that's the difference you see there. Steve Beaton hitting his doubles. 1 every other 2 goes at it. James Wade only hit 1 out of 5. Now, as you mentioned, Mike, he has ridden his luck, Steve, this weekend. But maybe it's fate. Johnny Haynes mismatched darts. Gary Anderson produced nowhere near the performance we saw of him in the afternoon when he came up against him in the quarterfinals. It was a tame exit after he was stunning and beating Justin Pipe, Anderson. Simon Whitlock, his poorest performance of the tournament so far. Steve Beaton getting through that one. So, is this just written in the stars for Steve Beaton? A word of caution, though. He did lead 4-1 against Johnny Haynes.
Good point.
And he also led 4-1 against Gary Anderson. And both of them went to deciding legs. This game is not over. However, he's left himself Shanghai, and James Wade, well, if he doesn't take this out and Beaton goes out on treble 2020 tops, and this isn't going for James Wade, Steve Beaton has a chance to go 5-1 up. Is there any way back from 5-1 down for James Wade?
Single, a treble and the double. Needs this treble now. It's just under.
88.
So sets it up for double 16 should James Wade not take out treble 20. His favourite double top. I say it's his favourite. And that's why. And relief for James Wade to pull it back to 4-2. And will we see history repeat itself and see Steve Beaton pegged back from 4-1 up to a deciding leg tonight?
Well, it's a great response for Steve Beaton to kick off with a 140. But James Wade, what can he summon here? He can summon a maximum, that's what he can summon. He's second in the match. But back comes Beaton. Oh my word. Not for the first time, he's put 2 in the treble 20. It looks so inviting, he's not been able to follow it.
And we've had cracking matches right the way from Friday afternoon onwards when we started with 48 players. And the final 2 men standing, they're not letting us down either.
Oh, how about this James Wade for a third? Yeah, third maximum in a match. And a second one in this leg. James Wade turning it on when it matters. He needs to find breaks of throw here. And he's given himself a chance, a potential 11 darter. 1 for tops. There's the 1. There's the tops, and it's bang in the middle of the bed. The early double trouble for James Wade. Maybe it's evaporated. Maybe he's off and running now, and maybe Steve Beaton's in a bit of trouble.
Yes, thrown first at the start of this 8th leg. And here we go again, just below the treble, that second dart, but Beaton just needs to hold his nerve. But he's been given a little bit to think about yet again today in this Gibraltar Darts Trophy. If he's going to win it, he's going to do it the hard way.
Well, there you go, a 7. I think that's probably up there with the most unfortunate 3 darts we've seen so far.
Yeah, 2 ton 80s in the last leg and then hitting 7 there, but Beaton couldn't really make him pay. Just 43 from the man from Norfolk.
99.
James Wade went all the way to the final of a Players' Championship event a couple of weekends ago in Coventry. That time Simon Whitlock did for him as Steve Beaton puts in 139, and James Wade coming under pressure here. Yeah, Simon Whitlock beat him in that final. Can he go 1 better here?
81.
He's got work to do. He needs to hold his throat, and he needs to find another break as well. Oh, important last dart, and Steve Beaton's back on Shanghai. He could well get a dart to break Wade here and go within 1 leg of the trophy. And not only that, he'd be throwing for the match in the next leg. James Wade, 175 scored. 175 left rather. That's why he went for the ball, and he's not on a shot, so 6 darts for Steve Beaton from here.
Treble 20 will leave double, but he will have time to set this up, so he'll be back for 60 to go to within 1 leg of victory. And another European crown to add to the one he won in Germany last year.
98.
One of the nicest guys on the circuit, one of the most popular players. Wants double 10 now for 5-3. Oh, and he can't hold it. He can't hold his nerve when it matters. Can James Wade step in to make it all square?
56 remaining, 16 double top. He's only got one dart left. It's there! James Wade! Oh, and he's lapping up the applause. We're level at 4 apiece. Steve Beaton missing 2 darts to go 5-3 up there.
Just a little grimace from Beaton at the back of the stage.
I thought we were on for another 7 scored there. And unbelievably, James Wade threw an 11 darter to get one of the breaks back. He then has to throw a 21 darter, and he still manages to hold his own throw, and all of a sudden he's kicking in again, and Steve Beaton's in trouble now. He's in big trouble.
Yes, advantage Wade, you feel. There you see 4 ton 80s. Beaton higher on the 1-3-1 plus scores, but
4 perfect darts to start the leg from James Wade, and look at this. How does he do it? He seems to get through a scrappy leg somehow, and then he'll turn it on when it really matters, as Steve Beaton's doing his best here. That's as good as a maximum. That's his best visit to the board. But it may not be enough for the way that James Wade has started this leg, as he looks to break Steve Beaton, and he'd be throwing for the match if he can get this. And he's set it up absolutely wonderfully.
yes, all Beaton can do is try and hit a big score. Well, that's just the wrong side of the treble 19 and in the treble 7. And you can't see Wade missing this double top. Well, having said that, double 10. Can't hit that either. Is this another big moment in this Gibraltar Darts Trophy final?
This would be immense. Absolutely immense. Oh, Steve Beaton. Oh my word, that could have been the visit that turned the tide in his favour. But now James Wade's looking at his favourite double for a 5-4 leader breaker throw, and he's throwing for the match. James Wade has Steve Beaton exactly where he wants him now.
An absolutely huge moment in this final. And Steve Beaton just needed that double 11 for a 1-4-2, which really would have been a killer blow for Wade. But as it is, Wade kicks off with a 140 on what he's hoping will be the last leg of this final. Back comes Beaton.
Well, Steve Beaton led 4-1 here. He now trails 5-4. He has missed darts in the last 2 legs to go within a leg of victory. He's got to dig so deep here. He's got to find something. He is finding something. Is it enough? Well, it might be. It might be. But this man is renowned for holding his nerve. Renowned for having the bottle to do things when it really counts. But just 60, and Steve Beaton, what an opportunity.
It's like a boxing match, where just when you think your opponent is on the ropes and about to hit the canvas, back they bounce.
81.
Well, James Wade's on Shanghai. Steve Beaton needs a massive one. It's been a weekend of big finishes. We're not going to see one on this visit, and Steve Beaton needs something otherwise. Oh my word. He started off so well in this leg, and it's crumbling around him. James Wade may get a match start here. Shanghai he wants. There's the treble. Needs the single. Has the single. Double top. A match start goes begging.
So this has got to go, Steve, you feel. Oh, and it's not going to happen now. He's hit a treble 1. A nod of the head from James when he saw that dart go into the treble one from Beaton.
James Wade, double 10, his favourite double, and Wade has picked himself up off the canvas. He trailed 4-1 to the number 10 seed, Steve Beaton. But Wade, displaying all the guts, all the bottle, all the character that we've seen from him for so many years. A 6-4 victory. He's ridden his luck at times. He had to survive match darts from Benito van der Pas. But James Wade is the latest champion on the European Tour, a 5th in 5 events, a 6-4 victory, closing it out on his favourite double 10. Valiant from Steve Beaton, but not enough. Wade's toweling himself down. What a final we've had here, what a tournament we've had. We're going to get a few words on the presentation from Jacques Noyla and James Wade, and we will be back as the European Tour continues. The next venue, it's Dusseldorf in a couple of weeks' time. Massive, massive crowds. And back in Germany, where Steve Beaton's had some success. I've been Dan Dawson, Mike Lawrence has been alongside me. We've had Justin Pipe on occasion and Russ Bray as well. Thanks for staying with us for this. We'll get a few words from your new champion, James Wade, once he's finished necking that bottle of water.
Fantastic tournament.
And we'll see you in Dusseldorf.
William Hill, Jamie Hart, and the PDC commercial manager, Tim Reynolds. First of all, the runner-up for this year's, the 2013 Gibraltar Darts Trophy, the bronze honours, Steve Beaton. And now, the 2014 Gibraltar Darts Trophy champion, the Machine, James Wade! Well, James, first of all, congratulations. We talked on Friday night. It seems a long time ago. Yeah, it was us. No. And you said, watch out for James Wade this weekend. You've really showed it, have you?
I'd like to say first and foremost, thank you very much. Today the crowd were far more interactive than the past 2 days. So we come all this way, and for the crowd to interact with us, it's, you know, we enjoy it, you know, even though it goes against us at times. But what I will say is, believe it or not, I've won quite a few tournaments through the years, TV, you know, floor tournaments, and it got to a point in my little career that I didn't think I was ever going to win anything again. And, and this is no rubbish. This one means more to me, and I'm being completely honest, this means more to me than any TV tournament I've ever won.
I must say, James, very nice words, especially being behind. You've been behind in nearly every match you've played in the Gibraltar Darts Trophy. You seem to be playing your best game when you're behind.
Yeah, you know, it's desperation, you know. I want to win a bloody tournament again. And, you know, I grew up watching players like Steve just make... Stop yourself. No, I mean, I grew up watching players like Steve Beaton, you know, Richard Bennett, all those players. And one thing you do learn when you grow up playing against players like that is you learn to have the bottle. And a lot of the younger players now haven't quite got that at times. And I'm quite lucky I learnt off of the grittiest best players.
Well, let's get one of the grittiest best players over here for a little question as well. Our runner-up, Steve Beaton. Steve, come up. I must say, you went 4-1 ahead, and I thought, he's going to win this one.
Well, I've been ahead a few times this week, haven't we seen that? But no, I mean, fair play to James. He's had a tough year or two, and you know, I mean, that's why he was top of his game. You know, I didn't take him lightly, and the chances I missed, he took. You know, and you know, that's why he is so good.
So you are a happy number 2?
No, I hate losing. I hate it. I don't show it, but I hate losing. But fair play to James. He played the best.
James, one last question. The next big tournament is obviously Düsseldorf European Tour. After that, the really big one is the World Match Play. The World Match Play has always been a very, very good tournament for you. You must be feeling confident going into that one now.
Sometimes confidence isn't a great thing. Sometimes going into it thinking, oh, I don't know what I'm going to do, you know, that is probably better for a dart player, for my own personal opinion. You know, going into a tournament, not knowing what's going to happen, perhaps is probably a better feeling than going into a tournament thinking, this is going to be easy.
Ladies and gentlemen, one more time, please show your appreciation. The 2014 Gibraltar Darts Trophy champion, the Machine, James Wade. Come on, ladies and gentlemen, give it up once more to 2 finalists of the 2014 Gibraltar Darts Trophy, Steve Beaton and the champion, James Wade. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that concludes our Gibraltar Darts Trophy for 2014. We thank you very much for coming along and showing your appreciation for all the players. I hope you all have a really, really nice evening, and I hope to see you back next year. Bye-bye.